Okay, welcome to the Lockdown Economy. We are a social non-profit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is Rosie Ellison, and our guest today is Sabrina Clarke-Okwubanego. I'm very happy to have you here with us today. Welcome, Sabrina, to the Lockdown Economy. How are you?
Thank you, Rosie. Very happy to be here. I am well. It is sunny, so I'm even happier because there's sun on my back, which is great.
Yeah, it's a rarity in England, but there we go.
It is indeed.
So I've explained a little bit about yourself and Build Global, but could you explain a bit more for us what you do as a business and how long have you been doing it?
Sure. So I started Build Global formally 3 years ago, although secretly I had formed my company when I was working at some of the organizations that you listed, because I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I have a vision for the next, 20, 30 years of my life of how I want to help the world. And in order for me to do that, entrepreneurship was part of that. And so I knew I very simply wanted to solve business problems. And that's not a selling proposition. So you can't go to a business owner and say, I just want to solve your problems. And I needed to think about what my skills were. So when I use the term transformation, it sounds very consultancy, but that is what it is for people who may not be familiar, is taking something from start and making it something different in the end that is more efficient and more profitable. And that is essentially what I do with Build Global. With my corporate clients, if they are merging, if they have acquired other businesses, if they are changing their business structure, I help program manage that process. For my small and medium business clients, though, it is making sure that they planned accordingly. Our strategic planning services, founders are really great. Entrepreneurs are really great with their vision. They have a dream and they want to go straight for it. And sometimes that passion turns into action and reactive behavior, but being reactive in business isn't profitable. So what we do with clients is help them think more strategically about their business, where they want to see it in 3 to 5 years. 70% of small businesses don't last after 10 years. So if they want to exit or they want to continue for it to be a legacy business, where do they want to be? And then we start to look at their business model. Do the numbers actually make sense? Is there cash flow? Small businesses particularly don't report a profit in the first 2 years of running. It's typically within the 3 to 5 year that they actually start to make money. That's not everyone, but on average. And so we then help them figure out what is actually going to be profitable. Do your numbers make sense? Do your businesses make sense? Does your product even make sense? And then finally, negotiation services. 67% of small business owners, medium business owners, don't negotiate win-win deals on their behalf, particularly if they're dealing with large organizations. Sometimes they need somebody like us to sit alongside them and negotiate those deals. And that's where we step in. So that's what we do in a nutshell.
Great. Okay. So you seem to have lots going on in many different fields. Are you on your own in this business or do you have employees?
So I have an associate model. So one of the things I'm a consultant. I'm a geek. Don't look like it, but I am. And I did my research. And one of the things with my business is I wanted to manage my overheads for the first 5 years. So that meant not getting a physical office space or have a co-working space, but not bringing on a physical office space, and then started to look at my team and decided the best model for me would be an associate model, not full-time permanent staff, because I didn't even know what my cycles were. I didn't know what is my peak. When do we have good business? When don't we have good business? And the last thing I wanted to do was bring people on board and then have to make them redundant because we're a startup. I don't know, what the cash flow is going to be like. And so the associate model of bringing people in that work with me on client engagements who I know are getting compensated for their time. And that is and that agreement between us is consistent, has been the best way. Turns out, right decision, because we are in the middle of a pandemic. And I fortunately didn't have to go through the process of furloughing or making staff redundant.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, during the pandemic, with this model that you talk about, what was different for you when you went into this period of lockdown compared with a traditional business that has their own employees?
So the difference for me was not necessarily my associates, because they work for the company in an independent capacity. It was my pipeline. So March hits, the world turns upside down, and the pipeline just froze completely. Like literally deals that we had shored up just stopped. And that was a change, because typically for this business, since I started 3 years ago, by this time, I'm already in December 2021. I'm not thinking about December 2020. And so having to really be clear about what the next 6 months looks like from an income perspective for my associates, the clients that we have on board, was a challenge because nobody knew what was happening. People were freaking out, both between, you know, the situation that we're currently in globally, but also what that meant for their business. And so the programs that I tend to work on, it wasn't like people weren't, you know, acquiring companies and that wouldn't continue, but it just stopped. And that silence and that pause, I think everyone felt that, both large, small, and medium businesses. And that was the difference. Not necessarily my team, because I had conversations with my team. They know how we're structured. It didn't impact them in that way, but it did impact potential engagements that we would be working on in the future. And so that was difficult conversations to have.
Yeah, definitely. And so what measures did you put in place to try and re-stimulate this business and attract new clients in this time?
So the old school way of one-to-one conversations, emailing people, linking both on LinkedIn and traditional email, and picking up the phone and calling. That has been what has fared us well. And it was challenging. I want to be very clear. It was not easy. And also I didn't immediately start to sell stuff. The type of relationships I have with my clients are genuine relationship. I check in with them in terms of my client relationship strategy. So I'm not, whenever people are seeing emails from me, it's not just because I'm wanting to sell something. I'm genuinely interested in what they're doing. And so for the first few weeks, I wasn't having a conversation around products or services. I was genuinely checking in because I was genuinely concerned. How are you? How is your family?
Yeah.
Is everyone safe? My mom is on the front lines. I know there were other people who were in healthcare. So starting from a place of humanity was first and foremost important. And then moving to business and just asking questions, which is what I do as a consultant anyway, but just asking open questions. What are your challenges right now? What is it that you are, you know, focusing on the most? And the final thing I'll say as well is my focus shifted to small, medium business clients more, interestingly enough, because people were reaching out to me in terms of what they were dealing with. And so I didn't pivot in a way, I just amplified and brought things forward. So I think that at this time last year, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to be engaging with small, medium businesses, really want to work with them. Corona happened. Okay, let's bring that forward to to May, to June. So those are some of the things that I did. And I said final thing, but one more thing, which I think is very important, was I worked collaborating with other business owners, forming those relationships and those partnerships of how we could both offer services to specific clients. Also was helpful.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice. Collaboration, speaking personally with people, remembering that we're all humans and we're all going through this crazy experience all together is really important. So that's what you found worked well for you. Were there any things that you tried to do during the pandemic to stimulate that didn't work so well?
Yeah, so I think everything was saturated, particularly online at the time. And whilst for my corporate clients, there is a digital offering, and that digital offering works well in terms of engaging on Zoom or whatever channel to talk about some of the key challenges, it didn't work so well for small and medium business owners. And I think there are a number of reasons for that, but what I found in speaking to some of the small and medium business owners was they were tired of webinars, training. It was just too much. They wanted it to be very tailored. That one-on-one approach was better for them than trying to come together at that time, trying to come together for another training, another session, another webinar, another something that people are offering. So that one-on-one engagement worked better, but what didn't work was trying to engage them at the group at that point in time. Interestingly, that's shifted now, but certainly during that period wasn't successful.
Okay, do you think that was to do with like the overload of information that people were experiencing? Why do you think there was this resistance?
Yeah, so I think there was a little bit of information overload, an oversaturated market, and people were just, certainly within the small medium business space, it's all hands on deck trying to survive. Like, who has time to go to a webinar, even though actually if you make time to go to the webinar, it may help you with what you're dealing with. But equally, if you're dealing with financial challenges within your organization, you are focused on that, not trying to allocate time for what would be developmental and by a byproduct of that being very helpful, but no, didn't work. One-on-one engagement was more effective for that group.
Great. And how is your business going now in the present day?
So now it's going good. Now I'm good, as in I am happy to be in business in 2020, in the year of COVID, because it's been difficult and I see it all around me. So far it is good. We are still in business. We're still here, thankfully. It's been a challenging year, but yes, the goal is to be here, to be alive, to be functioning, which we are. So I'm very, very, very thankful for that.
Good. And have you noticed any change from kind of the initial period of lockdown in March to now, or the time after the summer? Have you noticed things changing in your market?
It's picked up substantially. So interestingly enough, with my market, August is typically the quietest month of the year. So there's lots of activity up to June, July. Then August comes, it's literally tumbleweed. And then second half of September, things start to pick up again in terms of the cycle. This year, August that's when it started to pick up. And now there's more phone calls, more conversations, more opportunities towards the back end, which is quite interesting because from a large corporate perspective, people tend to be winding down and freezing budgets. And so things don't pick up until the new year, but I haven't found that to be the case. There are opportunities. The pipeline is opening a little more, which is great and welcome.
Yeah, definitely. And what's your outlook for the coming few months with your business?
And so there are three to four things to focus on from my perspective. So again, stabilizing, building in resiliency, surviving, making our numbers into the next few months. The second, as I mentioned, is looking at how I support small, medium business owners now in a group way. So I'll be doing surveys to find out what people want to learn or focus on in terms of sessions to upskill them. I've been approached a lot, and whilst I would love for me and everyone in my team to work with some people on a one-to-one basis, not everyone has the budget to do that. And so what is the best way for me to maximize our time and their resources is to get them back into the group now, which I think people are open to. So rolling out sessions specifically for small and medium business owners. The third thing, we were talking about this, is I'm a small business advocate. And since the start of the pandemic, I've been profiling businesses every Wednesday just to say that they exist and for people to engage with them and their products and services. And so I will be continuing that work within the next few months and hopefully speaking to some of those entrepreneurs and getting more creative with that. And then the final thing is just solving problems. We've been very focused on strategic planning, negotiations, business operating model. One of the other things that has worked over this period is people just getting either me or members of my team on a retainer. So just building out that particular service offering for individuals who want a retainer service, who want to just have a conversation about some of those problems that don't fit neatly in a box, and we are able to support and help them with that.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'll definitely link your LinkedIn page below in the comments of this video, because I think it's another great initiative that you've started, showing the small businesses every week, because like you said, they are the people that really need help in this time. So if you're interested, I'll link that below so that you can check out Sabrina's LinkedIn page. So finally, you've given lots of tips of what went well for you during the pandemic, what didn't go well. how people can collaborate more, the value of face-to-face relationships. But are there 3 things that you personally, with your business, need help with in this time?
Visibility, visibility. As I mentioned earlier, we are in a saturated marketplace. It's very challenging. And so opportunities to be visible, for people to know that we exist, that is the support that we need. And that is the help that we greatly appreciate and receive in order to maintain what we are doing. So that would be the first ask or call for help, is visible and opportunities to be visible as a business. The second thing from our perspective is collaboration. So I believe in the sharing economy, and I've been able to really collaborate with fantastic business owners over this period. And so we don't have a gap in terms of skills because of how we operate, but hey, collaboration is very, very, very important to us. And so looking for ways for people who want to collaborate and work with us and partner with us to do some pretty amazing things. Those would be the 2. I wouldn't say there's a third, unless somebody wants to just give us money. Of course, we're happy to take happy to take money at any point in time. If you just want to give us money, great. But those would be the 2.
Well, we can try. We put it out there, maybe.
We're not opening an investment round, but if you just feel I just want to give money to build global. Interestingly enough, when I first started the business, one of the key things that was quite important for me was allocating 5% of Build Global's revenue to either nonprofits or social enterprises who are supporting entrepreneurs or different groups, etc. And I've been able to still maintain that promise even through this period. So I'm very fortunate about that.
Definitely, yeah. I'm sure they'll be very grateful for that. And we're very grateful that you joined us today, Sabrina. Your insights were really valuable, I think, for other entrepreneurs and small businesses who are struggling in this period. So thank you for joining us. And thank you to everyone that joined us today. Like I said, I will link Sabrina's LinkedIn page below in the comments, and feel free to contact Sabrina and myself also if you have any questions about the interview today. Sabrina, do you have any final comments?
My final comments to any small business owner or entrepreneur that is listening to this interview today is, I know how isolating this period can be for those businesses who are experiencing challenges and have found it very tricky from a cash flow perspective or from a client customer perspective to maintain their business. You are not alone. There are a number of us who are in that situation, currently going through it, have come out of that situation. And so reach out if you do find yourself in that place, to be able to engage with somebody like me, complimentary, just to talk through some of your experiences. We are all in it together, though we are in it together alone. So that is my comment. We are not alone. Reach out because you are experiencing things that we've all experienced, and you will get through it.
Yeah, stay connected. Thank you very much. So I invite everyone to like this video, subscribe to our AlterContacts channel on YouTube, and stay tuned, because in the coming weeks we will have more interviews with people like Sabrina, giving valuable insights on how they have dealt with the lockdown. Thanks, Sabrina.
Thanks, Rosie.
Bye.
Bye.